Teabag! Oh! Bob?
Wait?
Oh my god, I haven't seen you since
Jacksonville.
TGI Fridays.
Hello and welcome to SquaredEyesT.V. Today we'll cover the 2016 superhero masterpiece, Deadpool, a film by Tim Miller who brought the 2019 Terminator, Dark Fate, and Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy to life. Based on a Marvel Comics character, Deadpool brings raunchy humor,
Nobody's getting hurt?
pop culture references,
You ever see 127 Hours?
Spoiler alert.
superhero movie jokes, and plenty of Easter eggs. Although not your typical superhero film, it's vividly entertaining, surprisingly refreshing, full of action, and hilariously funny.
Your poor wife.
If that didn't convince you, I suggest you take this to the top of your list. And if you like the video, remember to hit like and subscribe. The story begins with a comic still of when Wade Wilson, also known as Deadpool, ambushes mutant arms dealer Francis Fanny, who goes by the name Ajax, and a convoy of his men on the expressway. Francis was returning from a meeting with a client. As they drive by, Deadpool jumps in front of an oncoming car and comically beats them up, causing the vehicle to swerve and flip, creating an accident on the expressway. Here's your first fun fact. In case you missed it, a coffee cup labeled Rob L in the slow-motion opening credits scene is a subtle reference to Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld. Also in the opening scene, there's a photo in a wallet of a man in a Green Lantern costume, referencing the Green Lantern movie in which Ryan Reynolds played the titular character. There was even a cover magazine of Ryan Reynolds on People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive and a Hello Kitty chapstick, to which fans of the comic would claim that Deadpool is a big fan of said fictional character. Another fun fact, when Deadpool was being slammed against the radio in the SUV, you could briefly hear the iconic sound effects from the 1966 Batman TV series. Seeing the chaos he's causing on the expressway on television, Pyotr Rasputin, otherwise known by his mutant name Colossus, is furious that Deadpool is causing mayhem and destruction wherever he goes. He explains how he keeps inviting him to join the X-Men, but continues to turn him down. He calls Eloise Phimister, also known as Negasonic Teenage Warhead, for help to bring in said vigilante. Codenames are supposed to be short and easy to use, but her naming sense is that of a 5-year-old child playing superhero. While Colossus wonders why Deadpool keeps rejecting his offer, which Negasonic only had snide comments about. Here's another fun fact for you. Talking about X-Men, Deadpool has a close relationship with Wolverine's Hugh Jackman, as he mentions him a lot in the movie. Wade even went out to staple Jackman's cutout face on him when Vanessa removed his mask at the end.
And this one.
Their history goes back to after being made in the same Weapon X facility. Following the car's collision, Deadpool finds himself surrounded by Francis's men. He comes out and declares that he only has 12 bullets, and he tells them that they'll have to share them. He skillfully takes them out with headshots, conserving his bullets, but when a guy in a motorcycle tries to take him out, Deadpool struggles to shoot him. And here we were expecting a spectacular takedown. Nope, he wastes 3 bullets and keeps on missing him. He blows his frustration by shooting an unsuspecting enemy in the back. When one of the guys was shooting at him with an automatic rifle, Deadpool posed on the ground, confident that the guy was out of bullets, while making a snide remark about not counting.
Someone's not counting.
It was badass when he shot the grenade that one guy would toss. It exploded while still in his hand. Well, the bad guys did score a hit when one of them shot Deadpool in the ass. What's truly badass is when he had 1 bullet left, so he positions himself so that all 3 guys are lined up and kills them with 1 bullet. Here's another fun fact. In case you missed it, when the car crashed in the opening scene, there were road signs, Nicieza Street and Fabian Road, in the background, another subtle reference to Deadpool's other co-creator, Fabian Nicieza. In fact, these aren't the only ones, as illustrator Ed McGuinness, writer Paul Wernick, and director Tim Miller were also given a shout-out on these road signs. Although writer Steve Ditko did not have a hand in creating said character, Spider-Man was one of Deadpool's favorite teammates, so he was also given a nod. While forced to kill a guy with katanas when a bullet wouldn't do the trick, Wade Wilson shows the viewers the events leading to how he became the comic hero Deadpool. After being dishonorably discharged, Wilson worked as a freelance mercenary, using his expertise as a Canadian Special Forces operative. He even went on to take the job of scaring off the pizza guy, who turned out to be a stalker. Fun fact, did you know that the scene with the pizza guy was actually ripped out of the comics, word for word, in Deadpool issue number 10? When he's not working, he spends most of his time at Sister Margaret's, a bar where his best friend Weasel works. He even went to instigate a fight at the bar just because he was bored. He later meets the escort with a heart of gold, Vanessa, who turns his life around. It's epic when Vanessa forces a big guy to apologize as she violently grabs his balls and calls him Fat Gandalf. Wade and Vanessa quickly hit it off, playing the Who's Got the Worst Life game, followed by vivid visuals of the lovely couple making love on different holidays. Here's another fun fact. You'd have to pause to catch a few names on the Deadpool list at Sister Margaret's. If you did, you'd find several famous names like Bill Cosby, Charlie Sheen, Kanye West, Lindsay Lohan, Miley Cyrus, Mike Tyson, Shia LaBeouf, Ozzy Osbourne, and Amanda Bynes. Even actors in the movie, Ryan Reynolds and TJ Miller, playing Weasel in the film, made the board, along with Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld. Aside from the typically written shoutouts in the movie, Rob Liefeld also makes a cameo appearance as one of the customers at Sister Margaret's. One night, Wade proposes to Vanessa with a candy ring pop, which she gleefully accepts. To celebrate this momentous occasion, Wade prepares to make love with her when he collapses. The next thing he knew, he was suddenly diagnosed with terminal stage cancer. Another fun fact, did you notice the B. Arthur shirt Wade was wearing when he was scaring off the pizza guy? It turns out that in the comics, Deadpool claims to be her #1 fan, regularly watching Golden Girl reruns. Being diagnosed with an incurable disease, Wade pushes Vanessa away, worried about dragging her into his mess. Tired of how his life turned out to be, Wade drops by the bar to talk with Weasel, who makes a joke about how he can win now with him dying from cancer. Weasel tells him that a man in black is looking for him. And no, I don't think Will Smith from Men in Black would be recruiting him anytime soon. Agent Smith explains how they know about his cancer and gives him the offer of a lifetime to treat his cancer and make him a superhero. Or so he claims. He refuses to believe in him and walks away. Later that night, he was deeply disturbed and couldn't sleep, still thinking of the offer. When Vanessa wakes up, he jokes about his nightmare about Liam Neeson, where he kidnapped his daughter, and how he's now being hunted. Nice save, using the story from Taken. Another fun fact, if you thought Wade mentioning Liam Neeson was random, it was actually a reference to him when said actor appeared in the 1988 Dirty Harry movie, The Deadpool. And another fun fact for you. In case you missed it, a Deadpool action figure was briefly shown when Wade was talking about his Wham vinyl with Vanessa. Unable to get it off his mind, Wade sneaks out at night without telling Vanessa and calls Agent Smith. He's later wheeled to an underground lab where he meets Ajax, who claims to be managing the mutant warehouse. When Wade wouldn't shut up, they gag him, to which Ajax then explains how they'll be injecting him with a serum to activate any mutant genes lurking in his DNA. He warns them that for it to work, they'll need to subject him to extreme stress. I guess this is the part where you use your safe word before this becomes a violent version of 50 Shades of Grey. Well anyway, he claims that the treatment affects everyone differently. While it made angel dust inhumanly strong, he was blessed with enhanced reflexes.
You have something in your teeth.
Don't you just hate it when people say that you have something on your teeth and can't resist looking in the mirror? Here's another fun fact for you. When Wade is brought to the underground lab, one of the mutants has blade-shaped bones growing out of him, a cameo of Meryl from the comics, a mutant raised by the Morlocks. Another fun fact, when Wade wouldn't shut up, Ajax threatened to sew his pretty mouth shut, which is how Deadpool was first portrayed in X-Men Origins. Wade even tells them not to make his supersuit green or animated.
Just shut it.
You look really nice today. It's the green. Brings out the seriousness in your eyes.
Perhaps a not-so-subtle reference to his previous DC role as the Green Lantern. Using adrenaline as a catalyst, they quickly subject him to horrendous torture in different ways, with each more painful than the last. After all this, Wade should write a book titled 100 Ways to Kill a Guy. Despite all the horrific torture he had to withstand, Wade still can't stop making jokes. When he talks about knowing Ajax's real name, Ajax puts him in a hyperbaric chamber where he's constantly being suffocated to the point of barely being kept alive. The procedure causes his tissues to shrivel up and leaving his body disfigured, where he appears to have suffered from a burn injury. Come to think of it, he does kind of look like Freddy Krueger. Here's another fun fact for you. After undergoing horrendous torture and massive physical transformation, Wade makes a joke when he says he looks like he was gnawed on by a radioactive Shar-Pei, which is a nod to Spider-Man, who was bitten by a radioactive spider and given his powers. In a 2004 Deadpool comic, the titular character mentions how he looks like a cross between Ryan Reynolds and a Shar-Pei. Well, later, Wade managed to secure a matchstick from Angel when he headbutted her, which he used to blow the place up. Wade survives the explosion, having activated his mutant powers. When Ajax checks on the place, Wade ambushes him and the two fight. Ajax gets the upper hand and then impales him to the floor while the place burns down. And once the fire has died, Wade picks himself up like a phoenix rising from the ashes. He seeks out Vanessa, but later changes his mind after seeing how people react to his new look. Well, could you blame them if you look like a disgusting avocado? To which Weasel vividly describes his appearance. Weasel suggests wearing a mask to make Ajax believe that he died in the fire. Or so he says, but Weasel really just wanted him to cover up his face, which Wade graphically describes as like a testicle with teeth. Fun fact, when Wade and Weasel came up with the superhero names, Weasel suggested using SquaredEyesT.V, which was a nod to Matt Murdock's Daredevil. At the same time, Netflix had just premiered the series, so it was a perfect time for the Daredevil reference. Wade then starts picking off Francis's men, hoping to find the one person who can fix him. Once, he struggled to remove the bloodstains on his suit when an old blind woman suggested using seltzer water and lemon to remove it, or just wear red, which gave birth to Deadpool's outfit. Wade leaves a trail of bodies in search for Francis, and to think, he even killed a guy using a Zamboni. He finally tracked down Agent Smith, who initially recruited him for the project. After torturing the poor guy, he finally has a lead on Francis. And we've all caught up from where we started. Deadpool finally finds Francis, who tries to escape, but he throws his katana at his wheels, which causes his motorcycle to do a 360-degree flip. He then runs to beat his ass down and impale him with his katana. He asks him to fix him, but when he's about to beat him up, Colossus shows up and throws him against a car. Colossus warns him that this is a wrongful way of using his powers. Deadpool got so distracted by the X-Men that Francis escaped, much to his dismay. In his frustration, he recklessly charges at the metallic Colossus and ends up breaking both hands and a leg. They plan on dragging him back to the Xavier Institute. But when Deadpool's hand recovers, he quickly cuts the arm that Colossus is dragging him with, which he references as a plot taken from 127 Hours. He then jumps off the bridge to land on an oncoming garbage truck. Fun fact, when Colossus tells him that he'll have to talk with Charles Xavier, Wade asks him if he's referring to McAvoy or Stewart, and makes a snide comment about how these timelines are confusing. When 20th Century Fox rebooted the series with its prequel, X-Men First Class, actor Patrick Stewart was replaced by James McAvoy for the role of Professor Xavier. Since then, the timelines have been a mess, resulting in the franchise ending early. Losing a hand, Wade returns to his home to recover from his wounds, to which he happens to have moved in with Al, the same old blind woman at the laundromat. He tries to keep a low profile until his arm fully grows to adult size. Al encourages him to confront Vanessa about his feelings, but Wade explains how he fears she'll reject him for his appearance. She claims that looks aren't everything, but Wade brushes her off. It's funny how he casually jokes about jerking with his baby hand. Francis returns to his hideout to have his wounds tended by Angel. He explains how he finally knows who Deadpool is, and claims they need to deal with him as he continues to jeopardize their business. They later find Weasel at the bar looking for information on Wade, which is how they find out about Vanessa. Fun fact, when Angel and Francis are leaving the bar, Weasel makes a snide comment about her outfit coming from the screening of Blade 2, another Marvel character. Surprisingly enough, Ryan Reynolds played the role of the vampire hunter Hannibal King in the 2004 movie Blade Trinity. Weasel warns Wade that Francis knows about Vanessa, so they quickly march on to the gentleman's club where she works. It's funny how people come up with escort names like Chastity, which are ironic given that they're far from being chaste. When he finally finds her, he weasels out and runs to the bathroom. When he finally musters the courage, Francis had already beaten him to her and kidnapped Vanessa. If in case you missed it, comic book legend Stan Lee makes a cameo appearance as a DJ at the club where Vanessa works. Wade returns to his home frustrated after having just missed Vanessa to the bad guys. They suddenly receive a text from Francis, telling him to meet them at a scrapyard. With that said, Wade packs up all the weapons in the house, even the ones Al keeps in her boot. He then goes to the Xavier Institute to ask for Colossus's help. After all, it was his fault that Francis escaped the first time. Wade then immediately calls Dopinder, your friendly neighborhood taxi driver. As they walk slowly to the background music, Negasonic wondered where his bag of guns was. He tried to call Dopinder to bring it back, but he didn't answer as he had a car accident. After all the trouble they went through to get all that stuff, sheesh. The stage is set for the final battle, where Wade, Colossus, and Negasonic face Francis, Angel, and several armed mercenaries. Angel leads the charge and sends Colossus flying. It seems Angel turned our Man of Steel into tinfoil with that punch. Negasonic then sends Angel flying using a fiery dash of explosions, while Colossus handles Angel. Wade and Negasonic are stuck with the armed mercenaries who indiscriminately shoot at them. Wanting to negotiate, Wade was forced to give himself a wedgie to pull out his white underwear and propose a truce. When that didn't work, he quickly charged at them with only his katana as a weapon. Fun fact, Wade finds his old friend Bob as one of the mercenaries, which was a cameo to Deadpool's comic book sidekick Bob, the Hydra agent. Deadpool also mentions his wife Gail, a subtle reference to Gail Simone, the creative comic book writer who has worked on Domino, Birds of Prey, and of course, Deadpool. With Negasonic's help, Wade gets on top of the ship where Francis and Vanessa are. Francis put the captive Vanessa inside a hyperbaric chamber, the same one that was used on Wade, and gives him that rather shocking look. While Wade hurries to rescue Vanessa, Francis charges at him with twin axes instead of Wade's twin katanas. Wade throws a katana at the glass chamber to stop the machine from suffocating Vanessa, which she then uses to free herself. And another fun fact, When Vanessa claims that she's played many roles, but a damsel in distress isn't one of them, it refers to her superhero identity in the comics as Copycat, an X-Force team member who can duplicate others on a cellular level. As Wade gets beaten to a pulp, Vanessa runs the katana through Francis, who then brushes her aside. Meanwhile, although Angel has inhuman strength, she doesn't stand a chance against Colossus. When she started to show more skin as the battle continued, Colossus covered his eyes, respectful of her. In response, she gives him head. And by head, I mean a staggering punch to his nuts. Even if he was the Man of Steel, he definitely would have felt that one. When Angel is choking him with a metal rope, Negasonic uses her powers to blow it all up. Colossus pulls out a knocked-out Angel and Negasonic before everything collapses. Wade puts Vanessa inside the glass chamber to protect her from the fall. When they thought it was all over, Francis jumped on Wade, and the two exchange blows. Wade breaks both of his arms and gets on top of him. When Francis explains that there is no cure, Wade pulls out a gun on him. Colossus tries to stop him, explaining how there are only 4 or 5 moments in an entire lifetime to become a hero. He describes how these moments offer him a choice, whether to make a sacrifice, conquer a flaw, save a friend, or even spare an enemy. In the middle of the explanation, Wade shoots Francis and explains how he might not be superhero material if he's forced to spare psychopaths like him. Vanessa confronts and berates Wade after all the trouble that he's put her through. He explains how much has happened and that the man behind the mask isn't the same one she remembers. Despite that, she takes off his mask and is briefly taken aback by how he looks. And yes, we've already had several chances to make fun of his face. Knowing now the reason for his disappearance, Vanessa comes to terms with it and kisses the man she's given her heart to.
As promised.
Here's another fun fact for you. When Wade describes himself as a friendly neighborhood pool guy, it refers to Spider-Man's moniker, which said character has significantly influenced the original design for Deadpool. And the post-credits scene was actually borrowed from the 1986 film Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when he comes out in a striped bathrobe and tells everyone to go home because the movie's over. Another fun fact, when Deadpool asks his audience if they were expecting Samuel L. Jackson to appear in an eye patch, it's actually the post-credit scene of the 2008 film Iron Man. Since then, it's become a trend for MCU films to give big reveals in the post-credit scene. Well, this time, Deadpool stops from doing a roundabout way and straightforwardly comes out and says that the gun-toting cybernetic mercenary Cable will be in its sequel. Well guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit like and subscribe. Make sure to tap that bell to be notified about our latest videos. And with that, we'll see you next time.